So we're going to walk you through the next 48 hours and give you an overview of what's impacting the United States for our Wednesday and our Thursday. So let's take a look at our surface map here. Beginning of our Wednesday, we're seeing some rain across parts of Oklahoma stretching into Missouri. That's left over from overnight rains that have moved through the Texas Panhandle. Out across the Intermountain West, we are watching areas of higher elevation snow, especially out near Yellowstone. And across the Canadian prairies, we're seeing a mixture of rain and snow for Manitoba as we begin our Wednesday. And let's just move our maps into motion through the day. We're going to watch that low pressure continue to spin up. By the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, we are going to see an area of severe weather possible from southwestern Missouri down through Oklahoma, down towards the Dallas area. We're not expecting anything too terrible. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted that area for a level 2 or a slight risk of severe weather for our Wednesday. Otherwise, from Indianapolis down through parts of southern Texas, we're under a level 1 risk for just very marginal thunderstorms. But let's go back to our maps here and let's continue watching this system progress. Overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we're going to see a line of storms. They could pose a punch with some severe weather as they make their way through Arkansas into Missouri, but overnight they will lose their steam as they move into the Ohio and Tennessee valleys. We're going to watch that move into Michigan on our day Thursday, but across parts of Minnesota, you're going to have some showers making their way through northern Minnesota. This is all associated with the trough that is digging in due to this high pressure just to the south and west of Hudson Bay. This is a very strong high, about 1026 millibars. So as that high continues to build in, it's going to bring down some chilly air for this time of the year. We're going to be watching the potential for some frost and freeze warnings across the Dakotas and northern Minnesota as we go into Thursday night. In fact, parts of Manitoba, we could see some significant snowfall as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday. So we're going to continue to watch this, and then by the time we wake up on our Friday, we are watching some scattered showers across parts of Texas. Those will continue to die out overnight. We watch snow for the UP of Michigan as that trough really starts to dig in across the northern plains. That low pressure system has now made its way into the northeast, bringing rain to New York all the way up to Maine. But this is going to be our main weather feature, this colder air as it moves in over for this upcoming weekend. In terms of our precipitation, the heavy amounts of rain by the time we get to our Monday is going to be featured over Oklahoma to Arkansas and southwestern Missouri. Locally, we could see 4 to 6 inches of rain with this particular system. We're going to see a more widespread 1 to 2 inches across areas from central Illinois back down through Texas. In Texas, this is beneficial rain for you. You're in somewhat kind of a drought situation, so any amount of rain, even if it is 1 to 2 inches at a time, we are going to take it for this time of the year. In terms of our temperatures for our Wednesday, we're going to see slightly cooler weather due to that rainfall across the northern plains. Temperatures here are going to be held down in the 40s and 50s, but across Texas, we're going to see temperatures into the 90s across far southern Texas. Most of the country is enjoying seasonal, if not above seasonal temperatures for our Wednesday. By the time we get to Thursday, that warmth continues to spread east. The Carolinas, you're now in the 80s through Florida, even some 60s and 70s making their way up towards New York City. Great day to be out and about. Across the western coast, we have those warm desert winds in the southwest, bringing temperatures up into the 90s, and that warmth stretches all the way up towards Seattle, where we see temperatures in the 50s and 60s. And that continues on our Friday. With that departing weather system and that trough starting to dig in, across parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, temperatures are going to be held down into the 40s for daytime highs on our Friday. And we see across parts of Ontario, temperatures below freezing, where that snowfall has moved out of the UP of Michigan into Ontario. And even as we begin our weekend, we're going to see the Northeast slightly below normal for this time of the year, with 40s and 50s across the northeastern part of the country. But look out west, even into the Canadian provinces. We are seeing those temperatures surging to 70s. We even have 80s in southern Alberta and southern Saskatchewan for our Saturday afternoon. get out, enjoy this weather, because this is rare air for the month of May. But let's go back to our maps and let's continue to look at our systems as they make their way across this upcoming weekend. So we could see some scattered showers developing in a line of storms from Pennsylvania down through Mississippi and Louisiana back towards the Dallas area, stretching back into south New Mexico. That line of storms is going to continue to move to the south and east, and by the time we get to Saturday morning, it's basically fallen apart here across the south. We do have a line of storms making their way across the Appalachian Mountains, but look at those blue 540 millibar lines. They are digging down into the lower Ohio Valley, a sign that there's going to be some chilly air across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast for our Saturday. Out west, we see yet another deep trough digging off the coast of California, bringing higher mountain snows to British Columbia and rain for the Washington and Oregon coast. But this is some significant troughing going on off the west coast and in the east coast. In the middle, we have that ridging taking place, and that ridging is bulging all the way north into the Alberta and Saskatchewan. That's going to allow those temperatures to really warm up for our Saturday. So as we go through the afternoon on Saturday, the East Coast, not the best day to go out to the beach anyway on Saturdays. We could see some scattered thunderstorms from Virginia down to South Carolina. Out west, we're continuing to watch those mountain snows and those valley rainfall with that system making its way on shore. As we go into our Sunday, we have high pressure over the Great Lakes area, cool weather across the Northeast. Could even see a snowflake in those higher elevations. And out west, we see this 996 millibar low in parts of Utah. That's going to swing out into the Central Plains. And as we see these isobar lines, those black lines moving almost due north, that's a sign that there is strong southerly winds out across the Central Plains. Going to warm those temperatures well into the 70s and 80s on our Sunday. But it's also going to direct that low. And we're going to watch that take place here as we go into our Monday. We see storms firing across parts of Kansas into Nebraska as that low begins to move through Colorado, bringing snow to those higher elevations. But then those storms are going to fire as we get into early next week. How this all plays out as we get towards next Tuesday, a lot to be determined. But we have some confidence that there could be some severe weather as we begin the new work week across the Central Plain. In fact, as we get into next week, the Climate Prediction Center has gone ahead and issued their outlook maps showing most of the country above normal temperatures for that time period. We are going to watch most of Texas and New Mexico experiencing below normal temperatures, as well as southern Florida experiencing below normal temperatures during this time frame. And in terms of precipitation, most of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, where you have seen your April be extremely wet, in fact, it's been some of the wettest Aprils on record, we're going to have a period of drying out as we get into that second week of May with below normal precipitation forecast across this area. But out west and in the Central Plains, and especially down to Texas and New Mexico, we're going to see above normal precipitation during the second week of May. Now, I want to jump up to Alaska. We haven't spent a lot of time up here lately, and it's one of my favorite places to focus on the weather. There's just fascinating weather. So let's take a look at our weather for Alaska on our Wednesday. As we start out, we have a low pressure across the Aleutian Islands. That is bringing some rain to the Kenai Peninsula up towards Anchorage and down along the islands down towards Washington State. Most of the northern range is kind of quiet with no precipitation, but as we make our way into our Thursday, that low pressure is going to continue to move towards the Kenai Peninsula, and actually it's going to move on shore, and it's going to bring some steady rainfall to that area Thursday into Friday. Higher mountain snowfall is likely as we make our way, and that low continues to spin in the Gulf of Alaska as we go Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. And we start to look out towards the tip of the Aleutian Islands for yet our next weather system. This is a pretty strong low already at 993 millibars, and we're going to watch that make its way across the Aleutian Islands. And then by the time we begin next week, we could see yet another round of significant precipitation for Alaska's southern coast, whereas the northern coast up towards Fairbanks, you're remaining pretty quiet in terms of any precipitation as we begin this upcoming weekend. In terms of our temperatures, we're going to see the Aleutian Islands out in the 30s and 40s. We're seeing the North Slope. We're seeing sub-zero temperatures as we begin our Wednesday morning. Prudhoe Bay, you're about 4 below. Nuiqsut, you're about 3 below. Even Fairbanks, you're floating in the upper 20s to low 30s. And Anchorage, you're flirting with 40 degrees. And we're going to watch the temperatures kind of warm as we go in through our Wednesday night into Thursday. And as we get into Thursday morning, temperatures are relatively warm as we're getting some warmer air being pumped up with that low pressure system. Temperatures are going to be flirting with 50 in southwestern Alaska, while the North Slope does remain in the teens as we go into Thursday. And temperatures are going to continue that warm trend throughout most of Friday into Saturday. By the time we get to Saturday, though, we're going to see the North Slope warming into the low teens, and we're going to see the southern coast, the Kenai Peninsula, down towards Anchorage. You're going to be near 35 to 40 degrees. The islands are cooling down a little bit, as well as far southwestern Alaska, where we see temperatures in the 20s. Out across the Yukon, though, we're seeing temperatures in the single digits across the northern slope of the Yukon Territory. And as we make our way over toward Northwest Territories, we are seeing temperatures in the single digits for our Saturday. And that warm temperatures are going to continue to be present as we go through our weekend and begin the next work week. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this time here at the Weather Farm. We hope you will check back with us real soon, and we hope you have a wonderful day.